There are many reasons to learn another language. Some people learn them to gain a deeper understanding of the world and other cultures. Some learn them so they can work in foreign countries. And some just learn the bare essentials when they go on holiday so they can ask for a pint without the bartender spitting in their drink. Then there's Manx, a language spoken by a few thousand people on one island with a population half the size of Warrington, 96% of whom speak English at home. And it's the most fun language I've ever studied. In the early 20th century, Manx was stigmatised as a backwards country bumpkin language with no place in public life. Kids that spoke it in school were beaten by their teachers for not speaking English. Fishermen were barred from speaking Manx on boats because it was bad for morale. The men that didn't speak Manx assumed the men that did used it to slag them off. At the time of his death in 1974, the fisherman Ned Madrill was the last native speaker of Manx. But thanks to decades of effort from academics and nationalists, Manx was brought back from the brink of extinction. The Bunscoil, the first Manx language primary school, opened in 2003 in St John's. The first generation of kids that went to the Bunscoil are now adults, and some of them even have kids of their own. This is a monumental achievement, but there's still a lot of work to do. If I'm being brutally honest, Manx is still not that common on the Isle of Man. If you go to a pub or a coffee shop or an art gallery on the island, I guarantee you, nearly all of the conversations you will hear will be in English. If you don't go looking for Manx speakers, you can easily spend decades on the Isle of Man without ever hearing a conversation longer than a few sentences. Growing up on the Isle of Man, I didn't really see the point of learning Manx. No one in my immediate family spoke it, and the few people I knew at school who did were all fluent English speakers. What finally prompted me to learn Manx was moving to Cardiff. Welsh isn't just alive in Wales, it is flourishing. Welsh is the only Celtic language not considered endangered by UNESCO. It isn't a language you only see on tea towels or comically long road signs. It's on milk cartons, utility bills, menus, even the elevators speak Welsh. The people of Wales fought for their language and won, and I want for Gilg what the Welsh have for Cymraeg. I didn't make a serious effort about learning Manx until I was well into my PhD, and I'm still not very good, but I love studying it. Now, some people might ask, why spend so much time on a language barely anyone speaks? Well, why draw? Why dance? Why look at the moon on a starry night? Why do anything other than eat, sleep and hope for a swift, merciful death? For the joy of it, you dafties. Manx is a fun language to speak, and it's easier to learn it than at any point in living memory. It's given me insights into other Celtic languages like Irish and Scottish Gaelic. And even if you only know how to tell passing strangers you like sausages, that still puts you in the top 0.001% of worldwide speakers. Not enough people know about Manx, and to celebrate its return from the ashes like a linguistic phoenix, I thought I'd make a little video on some of the gems I've come across in my studies. So with no further ado, here are my 10 favourite words in my favourite language.
Name. Cavalhowen.
Most of the animals we have words for in classical Manx are, unsurprisingly, farm animals, birds, and fish native to the Isle of Man or found in the Manx Bible. Names for more exotic animals had to be constructed artificially. A lot of these are just Manxified versions of the English names, and in some cases exactly the same. But my favourite Manx animal names are the ones where the translators got more creative. Whannelach, giraffe, can literally be translated as long-necked. Otter is more the usja, water dog, but neither come close to the humble hippopotamus, Cavalhowen, or more literally, river horse.
Go pick me, teacher, I'm ever so smart!
Jeez, wood rioe.
A lot of nouns have human body parts in their names. Handbrake, a head of cabbage, a bullseye on a dartboard. English and Manx are both full of these. But some parts of the body are just really funny. Credit where credit's due, English does have a few good ones. Bosom buddy, cigarette butt, spotted dick. But wood rioe, the Manx word for icicle, clears them all. Rioe means icy or glacial, wood means penis. Should bring that one back into English. Look out, fella, there's some frosty knobs hanging overhead.
Shree. Vliegen.
In linguistics, the diminutive is something you add to a noun to make it sound smaller, cuter, or babyish. There are a few ways to do this in English, usually by adding e or lit to the end. Typically e to make things cuter, let to make things physically smaller. Dog becomes doggy, horse becomes horsey. Book becomes booklet, brain becomes brainlet. In Manx, the closest equivalent is en. The meaning of this suffix is a bit broader than e or let in English, but it encompasses the diminutive. Friach becomes friachen, ton becomes tonen, and fliach becomes fliachen, or as I like to know them, little dampies.
Kjær. Huna Ashunach.
Every year on the 5th of July, the members of the House of Keys, or MHKs, our version of MPs, stroll up to Tynwald Hill in St John's. All bills that have received royal assent that year have their titles and summaries read aloud before the public in both English and Manx. Other than that, you basically hear no Manx from the political class in the rest of the year. Politicians might occasionally throw out a cheeky vastamai in an interview, but the vast majority of them can't speak Manx. Laws haven't been written in Manx for over a century, although given the rarity of Manx speakers in the judicial system, it's not like they'd be used much if they were. But none of this has stopped Manx speakers from making a few political and legal terms of their own. The best is the delightfully rhythmical Huna Ashunach. Huna, assistance, and Ashunach, national, makes Huna Ashunach, the dole.
Well, Huna Ashunach. What a wonderful phrase. Huna Ashunach. I smell like mayonnaise.
Quake. Post L.
The last generation of native Manx speakers died when computers were still in their infancy. But while it's sad that Ned Mandrel never got to slay the Ender Dragon, his successors have done an excellent job in bringing Manx into the digital age. Some Manx words relating to technology are literal translations of the English words. Inad Egger, website. Cwd Vug. Soft goods, okay, software, I see what they were going for there. Calculator, wow, wonder what that could be. But do you guys remember that trend in the 90s and early 2000s where they started putting lowercase e's at the start of words to make them sound more futuristic? E-commerce, eBay, e-girl, E102 Gamma, the beloved talking robot from Sonic Adventure. Well, Manx has you covered. Electronic in Manx is lectrenach, so you stick a capital L on the end. And who needs email when you have post L?
Shay. Arkansas.
Celtic folklore is a great source of Manx words. The More the Do, Black Dog, a demonic black hound with glowing eyes that haunts the grounds of Peel Castle. Manannan Mec Lir, Manannan, son of the sea, the Celtic god of the ocean that shrouds the Isle of Man in mist, protecting us from longships and tax collectors. But one of the friendlier figures in Manx mythology is the humble Arkansas, which can be translated as lucky urchin or plentiful little pig. The Arkansas was a small white creature with red eyes. They were rare and difficult to catch, but those that did would find a silver coin in their pocket as a sign of good luck. Biologists among you might notice this creature sounds an awful lot like an albino hedgehog, probably because it was one. Nowadays, the word Arkansas just means hedgehog in Manx, but if you stay pure of heart, a real Arkansas may pay you a visit. Don't give them milk though, it gives them the trods.
Shach. Smug Rawn.
Manx doesn't look that similar to Scottish Gaelic or Irish. Thanks a lot, 17th century English clergymen, but all three languages share a common ancestor in Old Irish, which was brought to the Isle of Man by missionaries about 1500 years ago. During my time studying the languages of the Celtic diaspora, I uncovered a fundamental rule of linguistics. Our languages have a lot of funny words for jellyfish. While discussing words from our languages, my friend, who is a fluent Irish speaker, told me the word for jellyfish in her language is smuggler roin, which literally translates to seal snot. I didn't know what it was in Manx, so I looked it up, and yep, it's that in Manx too. Smug rawn. Or smugrona, but smugron's more common in modern Manx. But it doesn't stop there. In formal Welsh, jellyfish should be translated as sglefryn vor, literally sea skater. But to the chagrin of traditionalists, English-speaking primary schools in Wales sometimes teach it as the nonsense phrase pysgod wibbly wobbly, because until academics settled on sglefryn vor, the official Welsh translation for jellyfish was Conti Moor, quite literally of the sea.
That's the Welsh for you, mate. Filth. A lot of them.
Hoch. Muck Balloon.
Here's a nice easy word for you. The Manx for pig is muck. M-U-C. This is a very fitting word for pig, I like it, and not just because it looks funny when you spell it backwards. A compound noun is a noun made up of two or more existing words, sometimes with a space in the middle, sometimes with a hyphen in the middle, or sometimes with nothing at all. Muck is in loads of these. Muck Vara, pig of the sea, porpoise. Muck Fanactach, warty pig, warthog, and my personal favourite, Muck Balloon, ground pig, aardvark.
Nye. Muck Neferishin.
Wait, hang on, I'm not done talking about pigs. For number 9, we go to the world of creepy crawlies. There are a few contenders here. Diane amuses me, because I always think of Princess Di. Cramig Veg is one of my favourite terms of endearment for my fiancée, or Cramig Vua in the case of our giant West African snail. But my favourite is the Manx word for woodlouse, also known as the pillbug, roly-poly, parson's pig, granny grunter, yada. If you literally translate wood louse into Manx, you get meal chala, literally woodland louse, but Colach Sagat also appears in the Manx dictionary. Sagat means priest and Colach means male animal or stallion. It appears in the Manx word for boar, so I think this is someone's attempt at translating parson's pig, or parson's boar. But by far, my favourite word for woodlouse is muck na ferishin, pig of the fairies.
Jai. Banyan Abadu.
Our last word in Gilg comes from the sacred ground of the pub. It's both funny and a bit depressing just how much of the Manx taught in introductory courses focuses on pubs. In one of the intro courses I took, ordering a pint was literally the focus of lesson 3. I mean, who needs counting or the days of the week? Vastamai, Tammy Vosh Crosby, Yespavili and Pint Shrew. Many drinks in Manx, alcoholic or non-alcoholic, are fairly similar to English. Fiend, Caffey, Guinness tonic, and so forth. But by far the best is Guinness, a drink loved by the Celts so much we used to prescribe it to pregnant women. Banyan Abadu, milk of the black cows. Right, thank you very much for watching. I'm not a native Manx speaker, and I tried my best to match pronunciation, but hopefully there were no howlers. Apologies to the Manx speakers that helped me with the script. If you want to learn some actually useful Manx phrases, learnmanx.com is a pretty good place to start. There are other videos on YouTube made by people that speak far better Manx than I do, a few of which I've left in the description. Corpus.gilg.im is by far the best dictionary online. Every entry is backed up with contextual examples which are then sorted by year, so you can see how fluent speakers from each time period would use them in sentences. So yeah, thank you for watching, and good luck with learning Gilg. Just don't use Google Translate yet, it's still a bit crap.
The flag of the Isle of Man is nothing but 3 legs sharing a weird pair of underpants. So